Good morning. There's lots of you on here already. This is great. Let's see. I can't hear you right now because I've actually turned that off. So we didn't have everybody chiming in at the same time, but you can go to your chat at the bottom of your screen. All right. And now I should have everybody. Right, I do have you. I don't know where y'all went. All right, I'm gonna have to get out of here and try this again. Sorry, I'm gonna leave and come back. Wait, here we go. I lost my chat. All right, hello, more people coming in, great. I don't need any of that, I just need my chat turned on. Wherever it went. There we go, chat. Well, let's see if this works. I'm having fun here. I don't want any of you things. There we go. All right, I'm just hoping everybody can see my full screen. So if you can, if you could just put yes, that would be great in the Zoom group chat. Does everyone see where the chat button is? I'm not sure if it comes across the top of your screen. Yay. Good morning. And my video should be, you should be able to see me as well, hopefully. There I am. Oh, how is everyone this morning? What a crazy time this is going to be. One thing is, I'm not sure a lot of your other professors are going to have their classes ready for this week, because this is supposed to be a transition week. And that's usually, for one, you, the student, to figure out how you're going to do that with your laptops and access to the internet, and just making sure you can access and load Zoom. So I hope, it looks like people here have figured that one out. If, so your profs aren't always in the same boat. So because I'm somewhat tech savvy, I figured it out all this weekend. There's training going on this week for all of the profs. They just happen to run at the same time as your classes. So I decided I would get ahead of the game and work out how it was going to work for the whole week this week, so that you don't really miss anything, and you can feel a little bit normal that we still have class, but you don't have to jump in a car, hop on a bus, walk to school, even have a shower and get dressed if you don't want to. So you can just go to school in your jammies. So here we are, and hopefully we'll be able to work out the assignment. If you have any questions while I'm giving instruction, you are more than welcome to type a message in the chat box and let me know if you have any questions. So we will be using InDesign to start today. And if you haven't downloaded or found your pictures yet based on the milestone, then you'll want to start doing that, or you can follow along with me and we'll just grab some photos, because I realize some of you might not be prepared due to the madness and mayhem that is a lockdown, essentially. Now that they've closed some bars and restaurants, and Tim Hortons is closed and Starbucks is closed. So this is an interesting time today. So your milestone 4, I'll just open what we were looking for. There was content. So not everyone will be chimed in yet, but so far I have 8 of you out of the class. So what I'm going to show you is I'm going to start downloading some images. So if you weren't able to do that and prepare for today's milestone, let's go and grab some images. So what I'm going to do is launch Word. And let's go take a look at the Word document that I uploaded to the milestone 4. And we'll see what we need to grab. So that'll be, it's not in here. Let's go looking for it. I have lots of things except when I want. So let's search for CWF. Okay, fine. It's not even going to come up. There. So the best bet, where should we go? Let's head to eConestoga. So if you're looking for some files as well, and you want to read, you can download it to your own desktop. We can go to content. And here's the pollinators, Canadian Wildlife Federation pollinators. So I'm going to download that file from milestones. The other thing you're going to need actually today also is the CWF logo that I've supplied to you. And I supplied 2 logos because I use it in 2 ways. So we have this stacked logo. So that is one way they represent themselves. And the other one is CWF logo horizontal. So for those of you joining in, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. We're just downloading some files from Milestone, the Milestone content folder. So we now have a horizontal logo as well. So when logos are created, and we've been creating logos, remember we've been playing around with how they can stack and how they can be used. Well, in this particular case, they have one that they like to use on their website because it's horizontal, and they have, so it just depends on the layout. So they have 2 options. So they have this horizontal layout. So that's now in my downloads folder. And they have this stacked layout. So notice it's the same configuration of text and the symbol, and they've got 2 versions of it that they can use depending on the layout. So this one works well on, well, we can go take a look at their website, which we will go do in a minute. So you'll want to download those 2 logos from the milestone module under contents. Okay, so, and also the Canadian Wildlife Federation pollinators Word document. You're also going to need that because we're going to place the text in InDesign. All right, we've got 11 participants. Yay, good morning. So this is being recorded, this lecture in class online instruction. So this entire video in its entirety is going to go up on the student portal under your Adobe. Right now I have Adobe Video. There'll be a new module called Zoom online tutorials, because they're going to be a lot longer, right? They're not going to be simple or broken down videos for 10 to 15 minutes. Some are 20 minutes. This is going to be 2 to 2.5 hours, depending on how long we take this morning to get this done. So I tested one out yesterday with my other class, and it took me a while to edit it. Good morning. I hear someone. You can always turn off your, I can mute you over here. Mute. Just so that if you talk when I'm talking, what happens, it picks up. It will pick up your sound over mine. All right, you're getting connected. Good morning. All right. All right. Let's see how many. Oh, we're up to 14 of you. For those of you just chiming in, if you could go to the milestones folder, you're going to need these 3 files. Canadian Wildlife Federation, this is a Word document where we'll be placing that, and both of the CWF logos. This is going to be fun. So yesterday, someone was having difficulty logging on, and they swore during the video. And I had to edit that out. So it took longer to get the video up. So just keep that in mind. If you're going to unmute, don't swear on the video, because then I have to edit it all out. All right. So we're up to 14 of you. This is fantastic. So once again, please download under milestones the CWF pollinators Word document, the CWF logo, and the CWF logo horizontal. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the Word document. So we are going to open our newly downloaded document. Mine's going to be sitting in the downloads folder. I'm not worried right now about creating a new folder and placing everything in my folder on my desktop. And I'm going to show you why, because at the end of creating this in InDesign, we can actually package. So instead of file save as a single document, we're going to file package, and it's going to collect all our stuff for us, no matter where it is. It could be sitting on our desktop. It could be sitting in a folder. It could be off a memory stick. It could be across the network. No matter where you source it and where you grab it from, when you do file a package, the nice thing is it pools everything for you. It grabs everything for you and puts it all in a handy folder, and it even organizes your folder for you, including your fonts. It actually picks up all the fonts that you use and also packages them in your folder. So in that nice package will be your InDesign document, your fonts. It'll have a little folder for your document fonts. It'll have a little folder for your images, which would be any graphics like logos or photographs that you place. And it'll have an InDesign document, and it will also create a PDF for you. So your PDF then can be sent to a printer. But we're going to create a second PDF that is interactive, which is really cool. And we don't even have to do anything except maybe make a URL, a link out of some text, and that's it. And you can make images into clickable objects as well in an interactive PDF. So the nice thing about InDesign is very, very versatile. And you can save one for print, and the same file can also be used for an interactive PDF. The other thing you're going to need is your TRIFOLD brochure. Do you have it uploaded to the portal? So you'll want to download your TRIFOLD brochure template from the portal as well. So I'm going to have to go in and download mine as well. So I'm in downloads. I'm going to see the last thing I added is, there it is, my Canadian wildlife pollinators doc. So we'll take a look at that. And there's all the text. All right. Now, it's a lot of text to try to fit on this TRIFOLD brochure. So what we're going to do is we're going to paste this whole lot of text on our pasteboard, but we don't have to use all of it. So I have a section called optional text. We will need the contact information, of course, but we'll place what we can based on what we have. And then you're going to see how it all connects. So here we go. I'm gonna minimize that for a minute. And I'm going to go into my, okay, how many people? We still have 14 people, good. If you can please also download your TRIFOLD brochure. So that's under assignments. You should have your TRIFOLD, nope, your print templates here. So if you go to your submission, you can download your own file. And there we go. So that allows us to, there's my templates. We're going to need this TRIFOLD brochure INDT file. So before we launch it, why don't we go searching for some photos? And that's the CWF website. If you've launched the, here we go, if you've launched the Word doc that you downloaded from the Milestones website, or sorry, from the portal, under Milestones, you can go to the very bottom of the Word doc and there's a link to take us to the website. There we go. So here they've used their horizontal logo, and notice they have the French version here with the English version, because you can choose whether you want to see the website in French or English. Once you've done that, then the logo will change accordingly. So if I did it in French, the logo changes to the French version on the side here. So because we're in Canada and it is a government, it's supplemented by the government, it has to have French and English, as both languages are official in Canada, which is why you often see French as well. So this is the federation I collected some information from. If you take a look at their website, you can see how nicely organized it is. You can see that they're teal.
You have to leave the college. Good
morning. Okay, Smear, do you need your, I'm gonna mute you on my side. Beep. All right. Let's see how many people here. Oh, we're up to 15 now. This is good. Look at everybody who's joined us now. All right. So now that I'm on the website, Canadian Wildlife Federation, again, you're just getting organized. If you can download the Canadian Wildlife Federation, CWF Pollinators Word doc, you'll find that under, hello, we can hear you.
तेरे घरे चलिए
All right. All right, we're still getting people chatting in there. All right, if you if you can mute your phone, if you're
यार बंद करो इन्हें
if you're coming in by phone, I'm gonna mute you. Boop. All right. Oh, we got some more people coming in. Okay, here we go. Please mute your devices. I'm not able to mute this one. Boop. All right. All right, can everyone hear me? So what happens is if you don't mute your microphone, what happens is when you talk, it overrides, and so the system only allows one person to talk at one time, and that's why that happens. So sometimes I get cut out if someone else is talking or noise. I have a feeling my dog is going to interrupt the class at some point. He's quiet upstairs right now. All right. So we now have, oh, we're back down to 14 people. We had 15 there for a minute. All right. So once again, starting from the beginning, please go to your assignments on eConestoga. Go to print templates and download by clicking on your submission. Download your templates. You need your templates for today. We need our TRIFOLD brochure. Once you have that, step 2, under contents, please go to the milestone module and download the Word document and both logos. We're losing participants. I wonder how many of you are going to get this done. All right. Oh, we're losing more participants. Is everyone leaving class? All right, well, there'll be a few of you who have it done. All right, so by coming to class today, you'll need to come to class for the next few weeks online for obvious reasons. Actually, for the rest of the semester is what they're talking about. So what we have to do is make sure that everybody can connect. And so that today is an excellent test run. Just because I'm posting these online, it means you don't have the option to ask questions in real time. So if you're joining class, you can ask questions in the chat, group chat here, in real time. So if you have any questions while I'm going, or if you've missed something or I'm going too fast, please type your message in the group chat. So now that we are under milestones and we've downloaded these 3 CWF files, we need all 3 of them. I'm going to minimize that and we're going to look for some photos. So at the bottom of the CWF Word doc, we have a link. So I've clicked on the link and we've headed over to their website. What I want you to recognize here is their color code right here. What color theme are they using? This is the teal of their actual logo, which we're going to sample. But take a look at the orange they're using throughout their website as well. These are opposite colors on the color wheel. They are using a complementary color theme. So you too can also use this color theme. So these 2 colors, they have 2 colors of teal in their logo, and then they're using a lighter and a darker of the same orange as well.
ਚੁੱਕਦੇ ਪੱਤੇ
ਨਾਮ ਤਾਂ ਤੇਰਾ ਆ ਰਿਹਾ ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਜੋਤ ਸੇ correct ਹੈ
Okay, go, whoever, you keep coming in. All right. This one right here. All right, so everyone can see what I'm doing? Hopefully. Can a few of you chime in here? Can you hear me? Please type in the chat.
क्या क्या करनी
ਕੀ ਚੱਕਰ ਪੈ ਗਿਆ ਕਰ ਲੈ ਸਮੀਰ ਯਾਰ ਕੀ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਯਾਰ ਖੋਲ ਯਾਰ ਕੰਪਿਊਟਰ ਯਾਰ ਆਪਣਾ
We can hear you too.
ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਵੀ ਕੈਨ
Please mute
ਹੀਅਰ ਯੂ
your microphone. All right, thank you for those of you who have come. So if you have not downloaded the 3 files under milestones and your template, please right now type no, because we'll wait a few more minutes for you to get those downloaded. No one's typing no. So does that mean everyone has them? All right, that's fantastic. So back to the Word doc, click on the link and check out the website. We're also going to take a look at the text here. We have a bold sans serif text here for their headlines and their subheads. See how they have it? It's very bold. It's quite a nice heavy one here. And then they have a regular face of the same font. They're also using uppercase for their subheads here. And in some cases, they're also using all caps in some of their dialogue here. But then we go back to regular here. So their buttons all have all uppercase. So these are kinds of things that we want to pay attention to when we're creating the TRIFOLD brochure, because we want the style and the tone, the look. We want repetition of those colors, those fonts, and those elements, and how they lay this out. They also have some nice little symbols here that if we were working with any of these, we could also collect their symbols if we were creating a brochure that included all of these categories. So if you scroll down, you can see this is nice. This is one place where this is difficult to read the text over top of this butterfly. So when you place a photo in the background, if you're going to put text on top, there's a way to put another color block on top of that photo in order to mute the contrast a bit so that you can read the text. Right here, you can see that there's so much going on in the background with contrast that it's very difficult to read the text. So that's something we want to avoid when we're designing is things like this. So what they need to do is just put a color block. You can see they put a gradient at the top. They just didn't continue it all the way down to mute the colors so that it was easier to read. So that is something that I would have done myself. So now that we have a preview of this desktop and their color theme, what I'd like you to do is we're going to create a color palette in InDesign. And so we need something to sample from. So if you're on a PC, you're going to want to do a print screen. I have the luxury of doing a Command Shift 4. If I hold down Command Shift 4 on my laptop, and I can actually crop an image. Now you might also know how to do this on your PC, where you can just do a screen capture without having to do print screen and save that file so that you can place it in InDesign and then use that to sample your colors. So I've sampled my colors here. And maybe I'll grab another one here as well. So a print screen or a screen capture. on a Mac, if you're using a Mac laptop, is Command-Shift-4, and it allows you to do a crop and takes picture essentially. Now that we have that, I'm going to leave this open in the background. So I just minimized it. I'm going to close my Word doc because I need to place it in my InDesign file, and so I need to close that. And that's the milestone. I don't need that open anymore. So the next thing we need to do is launch our template. So now that you've downloaded your template, you need to double click your TRIFOLD brochure template, which is an INDT. And we're going to launch our TRIFOLD template. And then we're going to start filling it in. And there we go. So this is what you should have. We have our paragraph styles, which is F11, or you can also find that under the type menu here. So I'm going to close mine off because we're not going to need it for a bit. So one thing that we're going to need to do is we're going to add our text to the side panel over here. Whenever we are working with text, you can either click and drag a box to type your text in, or you can file place your Word document. Now, why am I not going to copy from my Word document into my InDesign document? Well, it treats it a lot differently. It treats it as artwork a lot of the time and not editable text. It becomes a real pain. So in InDesign, and actually sometimes it won't even work at all. So the reason why there's this pasteboard off to the side is so I can file place my text in InDesign, and then I can copy and paste the elements off of my InDesign placement and start placing it inside my panels. So the first panel we're going to fill, though, is panel 1. It's like a cover, right? So when we fold our gatefold, panel 1 becomes our cover. So I want you to zoom in, Command or Control plus, to see the entire first panel on your screen here. And the first thing I want you to do is put a picture box there. In InDesign, I'm going to move my toolbox over to the right. You can move your toolbox wherever you want. You can also make it all sorts of directions here. So single, horizontal, or double. And that's just clicking on these little arrows here. If you grab the little dotted tab underneath the X here, you can move your toolbox wherever you like. In the toolbox, we're going to use this tool, a rectangle frame tool. The reason why we're choosing this is because when we place images in InDesign, it actually comes in 2 pieces. If we place an image in Illustrator, it's just an object. It's single. We click on the object, we can get rid of it. Same thing goes for Photoshop. But with InDesign, we have a blue frame, and then we place the picture inside the frame. So it's just like buying a physical frame where you have to replace the picture they put in it with your picture. So we are going to use this frame tool. See this rectangle frame tool? That's our frame that's going to hold our photo. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to click and drag a box. And I'm going to allow InDesign to let it snap to that pink line. So I'm going to do that again. With the frame tool, you want to be inside the pink lines with that frame. Now, why do I want to be inside the pink lines? Well, I don't have the budget to print full bleed. Full bleed means the image extends past the edge of the size of the paper. So the image will extend past it. It will be printed on bigger paper. then it'll be cut out. It'll be cut to the trim size, which is the actual size of the brochure. Well, I don't have that kind of budget. So it does cost more to have full bleed. So if you're on a budget, you're limited, then you want to keep all of your content contained inside the margin. And we call the space inside the margin our safe area. And it makes sense, right? It's not in danger of being cut off. So now I have a frame here to contain my picture on the first page, the cover. On the back panel, which is going to be the back cover, so we fold it, we fold it, we flip it over. Here's number 6, panel number 6. I think I still have my little mock-up here somewhere from the other day. Here we go. So this is what we're creating. Remember this guy? So we're creating a gatefold, so a 2-sided brochure that's printed on both sides. So here's panel 1, that's our cover. So we just took care of our cover by putting a picture box there, a frame. Now panel 2 is actually going to have the horizontal the vertical logo on it. So I'm going to click and drag. If we go to panel 2 with the same frame tool, on panel 2, I'm going to click and drag a box. That's going to have our logo in it. And then we're going to have text. So I've already pre-planned this, how the layout's going to go to get us started. And what you can do is on this mock-up, this is why it's a great idea to have a mock-up. You can write out and sketch what's going to go on this mock-up. So I could have written cover on here. I could have written also title and website. I definitely want to put the website on the bottom of my panel. So if I were to sketch this out, so cover image. Now, did this client provide that? You could put the name of the file that the client provided for the cover right here. So start sketching stuff out and organizing on this piece of paper. It makes things go much more efficiently when you're working, if you're organized before you even get started on the computer. So I need the website at the bottom. So website URL. So see, I'm just gonna write it out and be prepared. So that takes care of the cover. On panel 2, I want the logo at the top. So I'll sketch a box in for logo. And then I'm going to put text. And if I know exactly what text I'm going to put in that panel, I would write out what the document is or that the client provided me to let me know what is supposed to go on this panel. Because I've likely had a discussion with them as to what's supposed to go in there. Now we open to 3, 4, 5. We're going to take the entire upper half, very horizontal, of this brochure for a photo. It's going to go all the way across the top, but only half. So we have a very horizontal photo. And if you've taken a look at the frame, see how I put an X inside the box? Well, take a look on your computer screen with your frames. There's an X inside. So that means that is placement for a photo. A text box does not have an X in it, so it's for text. And a frame has an X through it, indicating that that is for an image. So on my cover here, I could put a big giant X. Inside my box to indicate that that is an image that's going in there. All right, so now that I have taken care of panel 3, 4, 5 with image at the top, we're going to place all the rest of the text at the bottom. And then we have 3 other little pictures that I'm going to show you how to inset on the side. It'll look very nice, and it will be a visual representation of the written text. Now that I close my gatefold, I now have the back panel. What goes on the back? Well, we're going to put all the contact information on the back. And I might even want to repeat the logo on the back. So I'm going to sketch that in. So now we're ready to go. We have an organization. So now that I've done that, we're also going to need another frame. So we're on panel 6, the back panel. I've sketched in that I need the contact information, which will be text, but I want the logo at the bottom. So I'm going to click and drag a text box, or sorry, a picture box, a frame at the bottom. So that one's going to, I have 2 options of a logo, right? I have the stacked one and I have a horizontal one. And I'm going to take advantage of using both of those in this layout. All right, so we've taken care of where our images are going to go on panels 2, 6, and 1. So if you scroll down to panels 3, 4, 5, well, we discussed putting another picture frame across the entire top of that brochure. Now, the reason why I don't have to have a picture in each panel is because when you open up a trifold brochure, it sits flat. So we can work all the way through those gutters. We can have an image go all the way through there. Okay, but we will take advantage of these 3 panels to have a column of text in each panel. All right. So we've got placement frames for our photos, and maybe you don't have your photos yet. So you've got placement of your frames, so you know where your pictures are going. So now it's adding text. So let's scroll back up to panel 1. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add the website at the bottom of the page. In order to add text in InDesign, you need a text tool. And in Illustrator, I've been making sure that you don't click and drag a box to type in. If you click and drag a box to type in Illustrator, then you're limited to the size of the box and you can't rotate it and do those kinds of things. And Photoshop is the same way. You need to click and type, otherwise you're limited to the size of the box. And in there, we're using text creatively. But in InDesign, it's meant for lots of text. So we actually can't just simply click and type. We have to have a box in order to contain the text. So we're going to click and drag a box. Now I want you to pay attention to how your mouse reacts to that space. See, when I'm over top of a blank space with no image, I have a square around my text tool. If I move inside the frame, my text tool gets a circle around it. That means whatever object I'm hovering over, like this frame, even though it's empty, will turn this frame into a text box. I don't want that to happen. So Control Z. I'm going to move out here, and I could even move out onto my pasteboard and click and drag a text box. So do pay attention to how your mouse is reacting. If you have a square around it, it means you're going to click and drag a new text box. If you're hovering over an object that already exists, it's going to turn that object into a text box. And we don't want to confuse the two. We do not want to do that. So we can start typing on our pasteboard. And if we take a look at what that website is, let's take a look. Okay, whenever you type in a web address, you never, ever, ever need the HTTPS ://. That's hypertext markup language, indicating that that's a website page. So we don't need any of that. And if the name of your business is really, really long, you also don't necessarily need the www. you just need the .ca at the end to indicate that that is a web address. So I'm going to choose the www. I'm going to keep that. And you can highlight it and copy it. Control C. And I'm going to paste it into my text box up here. Okay. Once you have your text pasted in there, if you want to double click, you only get a single word, right? If you triple click, you'll get the entire line highlighted. So you don't have to click and drag to highlight text. You can triple click to select text that way. Then we use Control Shift greater than. So let's keep using the things that we're learning. And now we have the website. Now we have to move that to the bottom of the page. Okay, whoops. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention to the chat here.
1 second.
Oh, they're asking you to buy Adobe again. Oh boy. Does anyone else have the problem of trying to sign in? Did anyone, if you got rid of your subscription, then yeah, it's going to ask you to buy it again. Make sure you're logging in with your Conestoga account. And then clicking on the education tab so that you're logged in with your school account. Otherwise, they're asking you to pay for a private account. So make sure you're logging in with the Conestoga account. So if you're struggling with that, try to get that sorted and we can get you caught up. All right, so if you have, does everyone have a text box? So click and drag a text box with your text tool off the side of your page. This is called the pasteboard. Locate the web address, which is this, www.cwf-fcf, FCF is for the French, .org. So I'm going to copy that, Command or Control C. Go back to my page over here and Control V to paste that in. Now that I have the text in here, I'm going to triple click on it to select it all. And then we've been doing this as practice using Control Shift and then greater than above the period to increase the size of the text. Now what we need to do is with our selection tool. So we're going to be using the selection tool, the type tool, and the frame tool pretty much are the only tools we're going to use except for when we sample our colors. So I'm going to select the black arrow, the selection tool, and I'm going to click on that text and I'm going to move it into place. Now my text box is too big, so Control plus, zoom in. What I must do is make sure that my text box fits within my margins left to right. I want to make sure it fits exactly. And the nice thing about InDesign and well, the Adobe products is that they will snap. So now I'm going to move that into place. If your text is too big, this is what you'll get. So I'm going to zoom in on that. You get this red plus sign. That red plus sign, if I hover over it, it might tell me what it is. That is called an overset alert box. So it's saying, hey, your box isn't big enough to hold all of this text. And if you look at the very bottom of your screen, I have a little red dot that says 1 error. If your text fits, you probably have a little green dot that says no errors. Well, I have an error, and maybe I have 200 pages, and I have no idea where this error is. So I'm going to double click that error at the bottom of the page, and it gives me this box, and it's called pre-flight. So this is something that all printers use, is they go through a pre-flight algorithm of your files to see if there are any errors on any of your files. It will pick up whether your pictures are RGB instead of CMYK. It will pick up a whole bunch of things. It'll pick up spelling mistakes. And so I click on this little tab to the left, and it says, oh, look, there's overset text. So let's see what that is by clicking on the little arrow to the left. And it says, hey, there's a text frame and it's overset and it's on page 1. And when you click on it, it will highlight the box for you. So consider you have hundreds of text boxes on over 200 pages. You have pictures, you have all sorts of things, and you find some errors. How the heck are you going to find them all? You've proofread it, you're thinking, oh, I thought I had everything. Well, the errors show up here. So once I correct that error, so watch what happens to my pre-flight box when I click on I'm going to use a bottom corner anchor point to click and drag to extend the box. My text is now all there. And look at my errors gone. I now have no errors. Fantastic. So I'm going to close that off. And you can also see where the red box was is now an empty blue box, which means all my text is contained. Okay, so Control 0, see what I've got here. Now, the last thing I want to do is I'm going to center this text. So under Properties, I just turned my properties off because I can't see anything over here. Let me move this over. I need to get my properties back. Here we go. And at the very bottom of my screen here, I'm going to choose Center the Text. I want center alignment on my cover here so that I have even spacing across my panel. So hopefully you all have the same thing. And currently, we're not going to change the font. We're not going to change the colors. We're just going to start adding content to our pages, and then we'll set up the look of it later with styles and colors. So we have our cover image. We have our website. And you know what? I think we should also have the website on the back panel. That would make sense, right? So I'm going to click on the frame for the logo that's going here, and I'm going to click and drag that up. And a little bit higher. And I'm going to click on the CWF logo. I can do a copy paste, Control C, Control V. Or remember that if you hover over that object with your selection tool, your black arrow, and hold the Alt key, and on a Mac, it's the Option key, I'm going to click and drag a copy and drop one there too. And if I pay attention to the green lines as I drag it, see how it's showing up that I can perfectly align that? And I'm going to drop it there. Now, why would I put those side by side? Like they're right beside each other. Is that redundant? Is that too much? Well, absolutely not, because page 1 is the cover and page 6 is the back. So they actually aren't visually associated with each other at all. So one's on the cover, one's on the back. All right, how'd you do? Are we good? Hopefully we can move forward. Yep, thank you, Hardik. All right, so the next step is to start adding some text. So we don't need to drag and draw a text box in order to place our Word doc. What I do want you to do is go over to your workspace over here, your pasteboard, and I just want you to click. Just click. We don't want anything selected anywhere else, because if we have that this box selected here, this text box, guess where all my text is going to be placed when I file place my text? It's going to go inside that text box. And that's not the box I want it to go into. So I'm going to just simply click, make sure nothing's selected. So make a habit of just clicking off to the side before you do anything else. And now we file place, we never copy paste from an external document into InDesign. We place everything, then we can copy and paste within InDesign. So file place. And now I have to locate my my downloaded Word doc, which is this one. Now it's really long. How is it all going to fit? Don't worry about that. We're going to copy and paste excerpts and delete them as we go so that we know we've used all of the text. So this is something I'm going to show you in publication that I like to do when I'm designing to make sure I've grabbed everything. It's easy to forget to add text that is necessary in the document, but if it's all placed onto the pasteboard on the side, you'll see what you have left. It's like, oh, I'm going to have to get this to fit. And I don't have enough room. So now you have to work with your photos. You might have to delete, sacrifice a photo. So by placing file place, locating your Word doc and hitting open and placing it here. So I can, notice it's attached to your mouse, just click. Now it put it in this handy dandy column, the exact same width as the columns on your text box or on your InDesign template. When we set up our document, we told it we wanted it to be 3 columns with a certain gutter width. So when I placed this text, it knew. If you didn't have 3 columns set up, you had a single column set up, this would actually fill the entire, like this, it would go much wider here. It would be 3 times as wide. So just note that your text boxes know how wide they need to flow when you place them based on the setup of your document, which is very cool. So we need this pollinators information. So we're going to need our text tool in order to copy this text. And we're going to select this text here. So we need to copy it, but we also need to delete it at the same time, which means we do Control X. We've now eliminated the text from our Word doc on our pasteboard, and it needs to go on panel 2 is where all our text is starting. So I need to click and drag a text box to fill the rest of that space. Now that I have a text box, I can Control V to paste in the text. Oh, that couldn't have gone any better. It actually fits exactly the way I have it. If you do not, I'm going to ruin it on purpose. Okay. If you don't have enough space for all of your text, where's the sacrifice? The image at the top. The logo doesn't have to run the full width. So I'm going to click on my frame, click on the bottom anchor point of my frame, and just drag it up to give myself more space for my text box. Again, with text boxes, click on the anchor point. I'm going to choose the top one here, and I'm going to drag it back up. So I can actually drag this down a wee bit so that my text lines up at the very bottom here. So there we go. All right, that's looking good. I now have the text that I needed over there. But notice I got rid of it in my Word doc here because I need to add this text now on panels 3, 4, and 5. So here we go. What are we doing? We're going to now use our text tool and select this text. What are we doing? And we're going to Control C to copy it. And we have to exit too, right? So you can either Control C to copy it and hit the delete key, or you can hit Control X to copy and delete at the same time. And now I'm going to click and drag a box inside my pink margins, my safe area, and I'm going to Command V or Control V to paste that in. Now I need to add more text. So this is looking like a brochure now, right? This is going to go great here. Can you repeat the placement of the Word document? Yes, I can. So The first thing, in order to place anything, again, please make a habit of clicking off to the side to make sure nothing's selected. If I have this box selected and I place my Word document, it's going inside this box. We don't want that to happen. We want to move over here to the pasteboard. That's this area off to the side. It's our pasteboard because whatever's on here doesn't print. This is for us. This is for us to organize files. We can place a whole bunch of stuff here and then move them onto the paper as we need them. So sometimes you'll end up with a whole bunch of stuff on the side and you go, well, I didn't need those. So now I can get rid of everything on my pasteboard, but it was there for me to place. It was ready to go. So I'm going to click over here and make sure I've clicked, and I'm going to File, Place. I'm going to locate my Word document, and I'm going to open it. So I did File, Place. Too bad it doesn't say Place, but they've got open here. And then it's attached to your mouse. So you could click and drag a box in which your text fits in, or you can take advantage of the fact that you already set up these 3 columns and simply click, and you've now placed your text. So it's that simple. Make sure, again, you don't have any other text boxes or objects, frames, anything selected, or that's where your text will be placed. Now that you have your text tool, you need to highlight the text, Control X to copy and delete it at the same time, and then click and drag a new text box in which to paste your text. So I've done that with the pollinator. I've done that with this text. It's down here, and I'm slowly working away at the text I need. Now I have this interesting fact, and I might not use it, but I need to see what else is happening in this text box. So I'm gonna Control X that as well, and just draw a new text box over here and paste it in. Doesn't matter if it's overset, we may or may not use it, but it's there in case we need it to fill space, in case the client doesn't come through with photos, in case our photos aren't big enough to fill the space. Well, now we have optional text to use to fill the space. So now I have species at risk. I'm gonna need these guys because they are part of the, whoops, didn't wanna do that. Control Z is your boo-boo button. So I'm gonna double click to get rid of these spaces. There we go. So here's all this text. How much more can I go? With my black arrow, I'm gonna extend this box. Notice it can't go outside the pasteboard. So there are 3 different species here that I collected for you that we needed pictures for. So we needed the rusty patched bumblebee, the long-tailed aphid eater, and the black swallowtail butterfly. So with my text tool, I'm gonna select all 3 of those. You can do one at a time too. So let's do that if you weren't able to extend your box and see everything in it. Why not? You can do one at a time. Text tool, select domestic bees, Control X. And where is it gonna go? It's gonna go here and here. Except, what if I need to move this box up and I have 3 independent text boxes? This is not gonna be fun. So I'm gonna click, humor me, and click at the end of right of ways at the end of what we're doing. Hit return and paste your text in there, Command or Control V. We don't have enough room for that text, right? So with our handy dandy selection tool, I'm gonna click on this side anchor point, and please don't hold shift. If you hold shift, it'll actually distort everything in the box. Just by itself, click on an anchor point, and let's extend the box all the way across because we need to use all 3 of these columns. So there's my species at risk. So I want everyone to get to this point before we continue. So I'll do that all again, you ready? So we have a text box here and our text fits, and we know this because we have a little blue box here. And we have the text we need here. I don't know if anyone just noticed that, but see how I have my black arrow selected while I'm clicking things? If you double click on a text box with your selection tool, it turns into the type tool. So now I need species at risk, and I need to paste it into panels 3, 4, and 5. So I'm going to Command or Control X that. So again, I'm eliminating text here that I've already placed so I don't accidentally place it again, or I don't miss placing some text. And I'm going to go down here, and at the end of what we are doing, you're actually going to click inside the text box at the end of the text, that column already there. Click at the very end, hit return, and Control V to paste. I don't have enough room for the text, quite obviously, and I have a red plus sign giving me an error. So what we're going to do is we're going to extend the text box with the black arrow, the selection tool. So with the selection tool, we're going to click on the side anchor point here, click and drag, and move it all the way across to fill to the other side of the margin. Now we have 3 columns. I don't want to put folds through this text, but I also have a lot of text to read all the way across, and I want to go back to my 3 columns. Well, aren't we lucky to have in our properties palette? Let's see, here we go. I've covered everything up with other things here. All right, so what happens if we want to use the 3 columns? We have a single text box. Well, the great thing about text boxes is in our text frame, we can have more than 1 column. Where did you go? All right. Ooh, sorry, I have to move you all the way to the bottom. See where it says text frame? Oh no. What did I click? I clicked something I shouldn't have. I lost my font. Oh, it went to emojis. Sorry, I clicked something I shouldn't have. There we go. All right, so you have your text frame selected, correct? With your black arrow, your selection tool. If you scroll all the way down in your properties to the bottom of the page, or let's see, text frame, text frame. Let's scroll all the way down to the bottom. You can use this tab too if it's not allowing you to scroll, like it didn't allow me to scroll. Take a look at the very bottom. See where it even gives you a little number of columns display here. Well, we need 3, right? Oh my gosh, what happened to my text? Let me go back to the, oh, look at all the fun things it's doing here with my text. All right, there we go. Well, that's fun. So with my text frame selected, scroll all the way bottom to properties, and we're going to change that to 3 columns. Perfect. We now have more space, right? Now, why wouldn't I just have 3 separate text boxes? If you have a single text box, then all the columns are linked. It will flow from one to the other. So if I change the size of this box, notice it fills all 3 columns, no matter how big or how small I make this box, which is very good for us because we don't know how much is going to fit and how much is not. Plus, we might have to modify the size of our frame. So now that I have 3 columns, look at my gutter width though. It's too skinny, right? It's too narrow. We created a 1/4 inch, so 1/2 inch gutter. So beside in the text frame where you change it to 3 columns, look to the right. That's your gutter width. We're going to increase that until we get our 0.5. And now we match up exactly to our template. Was everyone able to do that? Does anyone need me to repeat that? I await for your chat message. All good, says Niat. Thank you, Niat. Anyone else? I don't have text frame option. If you are using your text tool and you're clicking inside the frame, you won't find it. You must have your selection tool. You're selecting the text frame as an object. So don't use your text tool. You will not have the option with your text tool. You need your selection tool to select the text box in order to scroll down in your properties to reveal your text frame at the very bottom. All right. Excellent. So now we still need to add some more text here, right? So after bees, species at risk, let's go back up here. We need 2 more pieces of information, right? We need the black swallowtail butterfly and the long-tailed aphid eater. And I'm going to Control X that. Excellent. So we've got all of that. And once again, at the end of bees here, I'm going to hit return. And I'm going to Command or Control V to paste the information. Now you can see our text box. We don't have enough room. We don't have enough room. We don't have enough room to hold all of our text. So what we're going to have to do is with the black arrow, we're going to have to click on our frame, our picture frame, grab the bottom anchor point and move it up. Click on our text frame, grab the top anchor point and move it up. Now we have enough room for all our text. Now we haven't set up any styles, fonts, anything yet. So that will be coming. But we're really starting to look like a brochure worth reading. All right. So next, does everyone have what we are doing? Species at risk with 3. I'm going to need an extra. There we go. So we're going to need to play with that, but we haven't even worked with our fonts yet. So that's the next thing that we're going to do is work with style sheets and play with our fonts. So last week we created style sheets in our multiple page document, and we can do the same here in order to create, because right now you've got the styles in here that I created in the Word document. What if you want to change those? What if you want a sans serif font throughout? What if you want serif text, but body copy, but you want sans serif headlines in a different, or subheads in a different font? So we're going to set those up too. But first, let's see how we're doing. We have our cover, frame, website. Panel 6, we still need our contact information. A frame for a logo, website. Panel 2, frame for our logo. Text starts on panel 2, pollinators. Then 3, 4, 5, we have an image that spans across the entire length, entire width of our document. And then we have the text we wanted on the inside. So let's see what text we have left to place. We might have to talk to the client and sacrifice some more text. With your shopping power, optional text. So how you can help. And we still don't even have the contact information. So I'm going to go into how you can help, double click with my black arrow, select this text. I'm going to Control X that text. There's my contact information. I'm going to click and drag a text box down here to paste that information. All right. And with your shopping power, that's optional text. Let's see if we can preview all of, nope, we can't preview all of the text here. So I'm gonna Control X or Command, yeah, Control. Sorry, most of you are on PCs. If you're on a Mac, it's Command. And now I've revealed all the text. Excellent. And this is my pasteboard. I can click and drag as many boxes onto the side as I want. So I know what other text I have that I can use to add to my brochure. Now we need our contact information. It's the last bit of information we need, and we need to add it to panel 6 because it's the back cover. So that's where we want to place all that. Now we don't need this link, right? Because that's the link to the website, and we've already added text for the website address. So I'm going to grab from here up to here. So if everyone can do the same, this is the last bit of information we need. Again, Control X. And on panel 6, which is a good reason why we added these numbers here, we're going to click and drag a text box and Control V to paste it in. Now we have all the information the client wanted on the double-sided brochure. It's set for optional text we don't have to worry about. This text box is now empty because we don't need this link. We've already got it. So we're just going to delete that text box. So what are we missing? This particular text here. You can help. We might not be able to add that text, right? So we might, what we could do is how you can help. You can make that a clickable link and send them to another website, another landing page on the website. So for now, this is going to be up for discussion with the client to say, hey, I can't fit in all your text with everything else you want in here. So let's have a discussion about that. So you keep it on your pasteboard in case you need to figure out how to fit that in. And it's there just in case. But it doesn't print, so you're all good. So now we have all of this. And now we need some pictures, right? We will set up the formatting of our text later. So we already downloaded the logos from the milestones module. So with the black arrow, the selection tool, I want you to select on panel 2, the logo frame at the top left. And we never copy paste, we file place. So remember that in InDesign. So I'm clicking on my frame and I'm going to file, place, and locate my vertical logo, not the horizontal logo. I want the vertical logo. Notice there's a bunch of junk in the side. That's okay. Whoa, it's massive. What do I do about that? Now, you just placed it in a frame that you drew on there and you want it to fit in there. And we do have fitting options. But if I double click, I want you to see the picture inside the frame. If I double click on this blue frame that the picture's in, holy cow, it's huge. You know, I have to zoom out just so you can see it. See that orange frame? That is the picture, the size of the picture that is only partially being seen inside that picture box. It's massive, and we need it to fit inside this frame. So we have fitting tools. So I'm gonna come back here, double click again to make sure you have the blue frame selected, the blue frame. And if you scroll down in your properties palette, you'll see at the very bottom it says frame fitting. So we can fill the frame proportionately. We can fit the content proportionally. So let's try that. So it has fit the entire image inside the frame, left and right. We don't have enough to fill the top and bottom. If you want to fill the top and bottom as well, and you want to fill the entire frame with pixels, you choose fill frame proportionately. So it enlarges the image. Now we have a problem here. We have this ugly black space on the outside of the logo. I get images that that are difficult to use from clients all of the time. But this is InDesign. InDesign is meant for layout design. And it's also meant for playing around with layout and images. And your client may change the pictures 5 different times. So you just need to be ready with the layout. Once you've got a layout that you like, it's not hard to change the photos. So currently, there's all this black stuff in here. I'm gonna have to use the frame. So I'm gonna grab a side anchor point. Please don't hold the shift key because you will distort. The frame does not need the shift key. The frame is simply to crop your image. So I'm gonna tighten the frame by dragging the anchor points in on the logo. Now it's far too small now to fill this space, right? If I click on a corner anchor point to enlarge it, well, all I'm doing is accessing the frame. What if I want the frame and the picture inside the frame, and I want to enlarge them both at the same time? So double click to make sure you have your blue box selected. If you've double clicked, you'll reveal the orange box. That's the picture inside the frame. So double click to make sure with your selection tool that you have the blue box. Then Control Shift, grab a corner anchor point, and you can now enlarge the frame and the image inside the frame at the same time. So that's Control Shift, then click on a corner anchor point. You have to hold down Control Shift first, and then hold down a corner anchor point, click and drag to enlarge it. Okay, another text. How to decrease the size of logo. Repeat, crop the image. Okay, here we go. I'm actually going to delete the image. So I have my frame. Everyone has a frame, correct? So here's the frame. Your selection tool, click on your frame. The frame. This is the particular frame we're placing the logo in. I'm then going to file place. We always file place. We never copy paste. So we're going to file place. And in Photoshop, we've been used to placing images, but we place and it says embedded. So in Illustrator and InDesign, it just says place. It doesn't add the word embedded. So file place. Locate your file. I need this vertical layout, not the horizontal layout. Notice it's a PNG. Do PNGs print well? Nope. Don't worry. We're using these as placements. We can modify them all later. And another reason why I love InDesign, because we can right click on the image. It says open it. What program do you want to open it? Make your modifications. Change it to CMYK. Save it as an EPS file. And then just relink it to your new file. So you can do all that through InDesign. So that's a nice thing. You don't have to be fully prepped for everything. You just place things, make things look the way you want them to look, get approvals from your client, and then do the technical pre-press stuff after you've got approvals on that. So I'm going to open the PNG file. So it is too big for my frame. So again, while that frame is still selected with your black arrow, you're going to go down to frame fitting in properties. So here we go, frame fitting. I'm going to fit sorry, fit content proportionately to the frame. Or I can choose the one to the left, fill frame proportionately. So I have pixels filling the entire frame. It is far too small now, and I've got this ugliness here. So I'm going to use the frame itself with my black arrow. I'm going to grab side anchor points, and I'm going to tighten the frame. I don't need that big a box. I'm going to tighten the frame around the object. So that's how you crop an image in InDesign, is you use the frame, because if you double click, the picture inside the frame is separate from, double click, the frame itself. So it's two pieces. So you can use the frame as a cropping tool, essentially, in InDesign. Now I need to make this bigger to fill the space here. So Control, or on a Mac, Command, Control plus Shift, hold them both down at the same time, then grab a corner anchor point. Make sure your arrows are straight and not curved. If they're curved, you're going to end up rotating it. So go for the straight and click and drag corner anchor points until you've enlarged your logo. How'd we do, everybody? Good? All right. So I think I've answered both those questions. I've repeated both of those. How are we doing? Excellent. All right. So let's place then on panel 6. Let's scroll down to this box. This particular box is going to have our horizontal logo. So let's do the exact same thing. We're going to select the frame we want to place our logo in. File, place. And this time we're going to use the horizontal logo that we downloaded. Again, it does not fit. So luckily in the properties panel at the bottom where it says frame fitting, let's try fit content proportionately first. And let's see what happens when we fill frame proportionately. Oh, that looks a little better. And there we go. So we now have both logos, both versions of the logo placed in our document. So how's everyone doing? You know what we haven't done yet? Saved it. So before we lose everything and go searching for some photos to place in here, let's do File, Save As. We're going to save a working file. So I'm just going to save this to my desktop because later we're going to do a package. We're going to File, Save As Package, and it's going to collect everything and put everything in a folder for us. So this is my CWF TRIFOLD brochure. You know what? You don't even need the word brochure, do you? Because if you're going to do a search, you know what a trifold is. So it's up to you if you want to add the word brochure. And at the bottom here, we want an InDesign document. Notice we don't have any other options here except for a template or an IDML file is a legacy. So it's InDesign. It's a legacy file. Legacy meaning you can go to previous versions of InDesign if you're not updated, and it can still open the file. So if your printer that you're sending your files to doesn't have your most recent version of InDesign, that's okay. They can open it. Some features might be lost, but for the most part, they should be able to open it. So we want a InDesign document. And this way we can go back and edit. If you save it as a JPEG, it's flat. If you save it as a PDF, you can open the PDF in Illustrator, or you can open the PDF in Adobe Acrobat, but things could be broken apart and it is really not fun to work with. So always, always, always save a working file. So here's our CWF trifold. I'm saving it to my desktop and it's an InDesign document. All right. So Next, we need pictures. We need a picture for our cover. We need a horizontal. Notice the difference. We have a very vertical photo. We have a very horizontal photo. And then we also want to represent the rusty patched bumblebee, the long-tailed aphid eater, the black swallowtail butterfly. So if we go back to their website, is there anything we can grab from their website? Now we also hopefully grab some colors here as well. There's some lovely, lovely pictures here, but we're talking about pollinators. So what do bees pollinate? Flowers. So let's take a look. If we go to a new window, you can go to pexels.com and let's see if we can't find pollinator. Whoa, oh, that's pretty cool. I wonder what kind of bee that is. Oh, so we can't just grab any bee, but look what we can grab. This is a very vertical photo, which is nice. And actually it's, I don't know if you noticed, but it's using the orange. The monarch butterflies have the same orange as the logo buttons, so that might be a good choice. So I'm going to, don't forget, we don't right click on this photo. You click on the photo and then choose the download. Woo, it's huge. We only need 1200 horizontally. So this one's probably big enough for the cover. So did I do it? Did it download? I don't think I actually chose free download. All right, where am I going to save it? I'm just going to throw it on on my desktop. Let's just throw it on my desktop because again, we're not going to create a folder yet because I'm going to show you how packaging works in InDesign. So we don't have to be as organized, which is awesome. That's what I like about InDesign as well. It saves us from ourselves at the end. So I'm going to rename this CWF cover image. That works for me. It's a JPEG. That's all right. Save. Because remember, we're just placing images right now. It doesn't matter if it's a PNG, a JPEG. We can always open them up in Photoshop later, modify them for print. All right, so we've got a cover image. You don't have to choose the same one as me. So let's see what else there is. This is a beautiful image as well. The bees. Think about cropping this as a vertical as well. That could be nice. This sunset one is nice too. We could probably crop in the middle there as well. So choose whatever images you want. Again, we don't want too much contrast so that our website shows up beautifully at the bottom. There's a nice horizontal. Now let's not forget, we also need a horizontal image on the inside panel. So here we're choosing a cover image, very tall and narrow, but we also need a very horizontal image, which is very shallow. So I need you to select, whoops, not that one. I needed to select more than one image. We don't want people in them, right? We don't need people in them. Oh, that's a cute image here. That could work. And I need, let's see, if we have 8.5 by 11, and we've got a 1/4 inch margin, which takes off 1/2 inch, our safe area is 8 inches wide. So 8 times 300 is 2400. So how big is this thing? Holy smokes. It's absolutely massive. So we have plenty of image to work with if I choose this particular one as a download. I'm just going to hit copy so she thinks I said thank you. Thanks, Kat. I don't have any money right now to give you. And did it download my image? No, it didn't. Let's try that again. Uh-oh. What happened? The host. Oh no, I'm gonna have to choose another image. That's sad. All right, let's try that again. Pollinators. I guess I'm just gonna have to find something else. All right. That's okay. Now, the client might provide you with photos. Pexels.com are copyright free for commercial use for the most part, unless it says otherwise. So you have lots of things you can choose from. This is a nice image here as well. Ooh. He's a pollinator, but he also looks like he might bite you. I'm not going to use him. I'm going to, this is a nice one too. There's a pollinator. How big is that image? That's plenty wide as well. But it's not, yeah, it's not downloading. So maybe it says free to use. I already said, okay. It's not giving me a free download. I don't know if you guys are getting the same thing. So it looks like I'm going to have to go on a little bit more of a search. Kat, you wouldn't let me have your photo either. Now, pollinators also pollinate all sorts of things. This is a nice one. The original is big enough. Oh, it looks like I'm not downloading anything. All right, so I might get stuck. I'm not sure. I might have to try a different way. Well, where there's a will, there's a way, right? So what if let's see if I can do any more downloads at all. Oh, it's blocked me. That's why. Always allow. Well, that's my own fault. All right, so I wasn't paying attention to my downloads in the upper right-hand corner. They were blocked, so there we go. Now I can start getting some pictures, hopefully. There we go. This is bee on a sunflower. Well, there you go. That's my own fault. All right. So I could go, I'm going to go back and grab a couple more just for options. This one could be very nice for the cover. Bumblebees. Again, don't forget to change the name of your files because you're going to end up with an awful mess of files that you can't find because they're not properly named or their names are so long. This is beautiful, but we definitely don't have that butterfly. There's that one again. I really liked this one. Oh wait, I like this one. I want to go for the original. There we go. Yellow blee on a white flower. I don't need all that other information. All right. So now that I've downloaded some images, we still have some very specific images we have to get. And so that's here on the website itself. If we go down to the pollinators, where did you go, pollinators? I'm not sure where I found them. This would be a good way to say, tell people where to go. Oh, bats. Monarch butterfly, freshwater turtles, pollinators. All right, so sorry, I should tell you where I found that. So we need to download like specific photos to represent these very specific things. So Rusty Patch Bumblebee. I'm going to highlight that and copy it. And I'm going to paste it into the URL so I can start gathering some other photos. Images for Rusty Patch Bumblebee. There's one. It's pretty good to identify the bee. Let's see, that one's pretty good too. Rusty Patch Bumblebee. Ooh, that's a good one. Endangered species. This one's pretty good too. So I'm going to select this image. I'm going to right click and save the image as. It's not all that big, but we're going to run these ones small. So this is the, you can just, since you already copied the information, you can paste it in. And what you're going to need to do is make sure you have each one of these. Long-tailed aphid eater. Command or Control C to copy. Go looking for it. Oh, I keep opening the wrong one, sorry. Click on images. Ugh, gross. There it is. Long, that's an aphid. Long-tailed aphid eater. Ooh. That's actually from, guess what? Our own website. So that's what it looks like. So you could even go, if it showed up here, under pollinators. So I went under the endangered species and biodiversity. Okay, on their main website, go down to endangered species and biodiversity. Scroll down to pollinators, learn more. And there's the background. Interesting facts. By the way, this is all the information I grabbed for you. Program overview, program lead. And here we go. There's the, oh, you know what? We just grabbed the exact same image. So what you can do is right click, save image as, and that would be your rusty patched bumblebee. Next, there's your long-tailed aphid eater. Control, say, or right click, save image as, long-tailed aphid eater. And last but not least, I'm going to copy that text right off of here. The black-tail swallowtail butterfly, right click, save image as, black swallowtail. And save. There, now I got the 3 images I need to visually represent the copy on my page. So once again, go to the main website. Scroll down until you see endangered species and biodiversity. Then scroll down, 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 down until you see pollinators. Learn more. Ooh, there's a lot of info on this website. And then notice they too have this nice long horizontal image. That's a great background image too, but it's square. So we're going to scroll down, scroll, scroll, scroll until you see the 3 species that we are visually representing with our text. So right click, save the image to your desktop. Right click, save the image to your desktop, right click, save the image to your desktop. So now it's a matter of placing them all. So back to InDesign, black arrow, the selection tool. You're going to click on your frame for your cover, which is panel 1. And again, we don't copy paste, we file, place. Locate the image. I saved them all on the desktop. I'm gonna have a really messy desktop that I'm gonna have to clean up later, but that's okay. And I decided this was my cover image. Whoa, it's massive, right? So what I need to do is go into my properties palette, go all the way down to the bottom to where it says auto fit, and I'm going to not fit frame proportionally because I don't have enough image top and bottom. I'm going to fill the frame proportionately. There we go. Now I clearly am gonna have to do something with the text down here because we can't read it, but that's okay for now. All right, we also need a headline called pollinators on here somewhere. But we're just going to start placing our images. So now I'm going to scroll down to page 2 with panels 3, 4, 5. I'm going to click on this image. There's my frame, it's selected. Again, we always file, place, we never copy paste. And this is, what do we want? Bee on a sunflower could look nice. Ooh, those are my inside images. Ooh, I like that one. That one's pretty nice. Let's see what that looks like. I can always switch it out anytime I want. Now, whoa, it's too big. Once again, it's too small to fit the image, right? So, or to fill, sorry, the frame. So you want to use fill frame proportionately. Now my B is cut off. So if I hover over this white circle that keeps showing up, I get a hand tool. I can click on that and now move the image up. See that? And I can now get the entire B in my frame. Control 0 so you can see the entire page on your screen. So I'm going to do this one once again. Oh, what happened there? I'm having really fun things happening here. Okay, it went none. All right, so I'm back to, here's my frame. Here's my selection tool, the black arrow. Click on the frame to select it. You know it's selected when the anchor points are highlighted all the way around. We never copy paste, we always file, place, locate your file, and hit open to place it. And it's already taking on the properties of the last time I did it. So if it was too big or it's too small, you can use frame fitting. So fitting the image proportionately means if it's going to fit the entire image in its entirety in the frame, it has to choose one. So you can see I don't have enough to fill the frame. So I'm going to choose fill frame proportionately. My B is cut off. I know there's more image there, so I'm going to hover over the white circle till I get the little hand. I can then click, hold, and drag it up so the entire B is in the frame. And that's a better crop. Ooh, that's looking nice. Let's take a look at our layouts now. Ooh, they're really coming along. Control S. Make sure you're saving as you go along. So we just have those 3 little pictures left for the rusty patch bumblebee, the long-tailed aphid eater, and the black swallowtail butterfly. So I could put them inset in the text, but that's going to get a little complicated. That's level 2 of InDesign. So what we're going to do is we're going to create little boxes on the right-hand side over top of this picture. You can put it on the left. I'm going to put mine on the right. So what do you need? You need more frames. So here's a frame. The rectangle frame tool. I'm going to click and drag a box. Right there. I need 3 pictures. I want them all evenly spaced and all the same size. So how do I do that? Well, you draw one box. Only draw one box. Get it the way you want it. Grab your black arrow. You are now going to click on your frame. Click, hold. Don't forget Option on a Mac or Alt on a PC. You get the double arrow. So click on your box with your selection tool. Hold, Alt, drag, and make a copy. Pay attention to those green lines. They're helpful, smart guides. Now that I have a second one, let's do a third one. Click, drag with Alt, and you will see it's not going to space them out evenly. It wants to space it out evenly with the object below, but that's okay. We now have 3 picture boxes, but one is outside of this frame, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to click on this frame. If you hold Shift, you can select more than one frame at a time, which I'm going to do. So now I have all 3 frames, right? With all 3 frames selected, I can grab a corner anchor point and it will scale all 3 at the same time, and I can get them to fit inside this space. Now here's a problem if I zoom in. So again, to do that, I've got 3 boxes, so let's start again. With the frame tool, click and drag a frame. If I want a perfect square, I'll hold Shift. See that? If I hold Shift. Okay, so here's a box. Now I want 2 more identical size boxes. So in the interest of repetition, I'm going to repeat the shape, size, and position of those boxes. So with my selection tool, my black arrow, I'm going to click, hold, and with Option on a Mac and Alt on a PC, click and drag the copy. I'm going to drag it down. I'm paying attention to those green lines that show up because it's saying, hey, you're centered directly below the other one. Let go of your mouse or your trackpad. Okay, and let go of your Alt key. Now I'm going to click, hold on the second box, hold Option or Alt, and drag a copy. I'm going to make this much, or I'm going to do an overlap. No, I'm not. I'm going to make it too far away so you can see how we can use spacing. We actually have distribution tools as well. So this is clearly too big. My boxes are over top of my text. This is not good. So with my Shift key, I'm going to select all 3 of these boxes. And with a corner anchor point and holding Shift, I'm just going to scale those down. I can use my arrow keys to nudge them into place if I wish. Now, I have a problem here. In the interest of repetition, the repetition principle, this space is smaller than this space. How do I get all 3 of the boxes to be evenly spaced? So I'm going to click on this frame, Shift, click on this frame. With Shift held down, you can select more than one object at a time. And in Properties, this is pretty awesome. See where it says Align? In Properties. Let me try to move this whole thing over. There we go. If you have these selected and you have your black arrow selected, scroll to Align. Now these are alignment tools. What if you didn't get them aligned either? So this is a very nice thing that you can do. See where it says align? I can now align horizontal centers. And look at that, it nicely aligned them. But where's my distribution tools? How do I space these out evenly? I click on the little 3 dots for more options under align, and there's my distribution tools. So I want to distribute the objects with their centers. And now look at that, perfectly spaced. And I'm just going to nudge that over to the right with my arrow keys. How awesome is that? So you have alignment tools to align your content. You can do top alignment if they were running in a row across the top of your screen. So, and then you have distribution. So if that was hiding, I don't know if it allows me to hide it now that I've displayed it. But how awesome is that? So select, you need more than one object selected in order to see the distribution tools. All right, how do we do? Now we just have to put our pictures, our species in there. So I'm gonna Control S and save where I'm at so far. And how is everyone doing? Let's check the chat. Can I get the chat back? Microsoft for the win. No. You haven't seen all the power of InDesign yet. It's Word on steroids, everyone. Word on steroids. All right, we haven't even set up our text. So this is looking pretty nice now. Microsoft for the win. You know who you're talking to, right? All right, so I'm going to hide the chat box. So now we need to place our images. So the first one, I'm going to use the Rusty Patch Bumblebee. So I'm clicking on with my selection tool, the first box, File, Place, and I need the new Rusty Patch Bumblebee. Far too big to fill the space, right? So start filling your frames proportionately. Frame fitting. So we're going to just repeat what we did by selecting each frame, file, place, never copy paste. This one's the long-tailed aphid eater. Ooh, it's pretty sharp. Fill frame proportionately. And last but not least, file, place, the black swallowtail butterfly, fill frame. We now have all 3 species at risk displayed here. Might want to try, maybe I'll move that over. Whoops, I moved the picture inside the frame, not the frame and the picture. I don't know if I like those there. They're centered above this column. I'm going to move them back over. Maybe I'll move them closer together. And I've made a mess of that. So shift, click, select them all, align them, space them. All right. I kind of like that. So I have all 3 species represented from the list here. All right, how'd you do? We're not done, but we're getting closer because now we just have to set up our text and our colors. But look how nice that looks already, even though we haven't set up our text. Yeah. So Control S, make sure you're saving as you go along. All right. Okay. And next, let's start adding our colors. So we do have colors we can sample in here, but what we really want to do is sample the colors from the logo itself for sure. So how do you grab the colors from the logo? I'm gonna have to close some of these things off. Here's my toolbox. I'm gonna move my tools back over here. In order to sample the colors and have them available in my properties, so if I wanted to change the title, pollinators, to a new color, in my swatches, I don't really have a lot to pick from, right? I've got, believe it or not, see, Word itself has some colors. You can see they're even labeled Word. So that's pretty cool. So those were imported with the Word doc file. So I want to sample this image in order to add the colors to so that they're available in my swatch palette. So this is a tool we're going to use, the color theme tool. Now we have used the eyedropper in Photoshop to sample colors. We have used the eyedropper in Illustrator to sample colors so we can match colors. And now we can use the color theme tool. The color theme tool, if I click on it, is going to pick up all the colors in here. So if I click on this logo now with my color theme tool, look at that. It's picked up all the colors in that logo, including the text. So this is the text color. We have a darker teal in the bird here, and we have the lighter teal in the moon, like the framing of the circle above the top. So how do I add those to my swatches so that I can access them? I click on this tab right here. Add this theme to swatches. All right, I will, thank you. Now, if I select my text tool and I select pollinators and I choose the fill color in properties, see where it says colorful theme at the bottom? If you click on the little arrow to the left, there's all your colors. So now I am repeating the logo colors for effect. Now, what if I wanted to use the logo color or the colors they had on their own website for repetition? Well, the first thing I would need to do is click on my black arrow, file place, never copy paste, right? And locate that screenshot I did of their buttons on their website. This is the teal of their logo. This is the orange they chose as a complementary, opposites attract, for their website. And I'd like to take advantage of the fact that they are using a complementary color scheme and grab that color too. So I'm going to place that. I gotta move some stuff out of the way. Where did it go? Uh-oh. Look at what I did. Didn't I tell you to make sure you don't have anything selected? Otherwise, where does it go? Look at all my text is gone on page 2. I had pollinators selected, remember, to add color to the title of pollinators, and I didn't deselect the box. So since it was selected, where did my file place go? It went in my text box. So I'm gonna Control Z that. Thankfully, Control Z, you can go back several times. Here's my picture attached to my mouse now and no longer inside my text box. I'm gonna click and put it here. Now it's selected, there it is. I'm going to click on the color theme tool and I'm going to click on this image. Ooh, look at that. It's picking up all the colors, thank goodness, including the red. So I'm just going to add this theme to my swatches. And I can, now that I've done that, I can actually get rid of that box. So where are my swatches? Where am I going to find those? If you're looking specifically for dialog boxes to come up and you can't find them, they are under the window menu. So I'm going to ask my swatches to make an appearance by going under Window, Color. There's color themes. There's all sorts of things in here, swatches. And there's my colorful theme too, right here. Now, if you want to name them, I'm going to double click this colorful theme. And I'm going to name this CWF logo. All right. And I'm going to double click this and call this CWF website. So now I know where my colors are sourced from. And there they are. So instead of pollinators being blue, maybe I can add more contrast in the text. There we go. So that is how you sample colors. So I can go through all of these and change the color if I want. Don't forget, you have to open the little tab beside the folder in order to reveal the colors inside. All right, but first I'm gonna have to create some styles of the fonts. All right, it's looking pretty good. Hopefully everyone is up to the same level. Again, this is gonna be posted. It might take a little bit before it posts because it's like gonna be over 2 hours long. Oh no, your system crashed. Oh, I'm sorry. They made you leave the college? Oh dear. I will have to run that by the chair and see why it was closed. So don't worry if you're missing the assignment. The reason why I'm doing these live, and actually we're going to be doing all our classes live, all your profs are going to be eventually doing online live classes, is so that you can chat, ask questions, we can get through the assignment together, and you can do it during your regular class time as if you were in school. I am going to post the video afterwards, and then you'll have to go through it again, so you can always go through it again to work from home. If you missed any of this, or if your computer crashes, and I'm really surprised actually that they kicked you out of the college, because as far as I know it was open. So I will have to ask what the deal is there. All right, so is everyone to this point other than those who unfortunately had a crash? We're just going to now play with our text. Get that set up, and we also need a title on our cover page, right? So I'm going to need to click and drag a text box, and if you notice, I'm now hovering over my picture and it's not changing. See how I still have a square box around my text tool? The reason why it's not saying, hey, do you want to turn this into a text box, is because we filled it with something. The frame was empty before, so it was saying, hey, do you want to fill this with something? Now there's a picture inside the frame. So it's like, oh, okay. So if I click and drag a text box over top, it's not going to turn my object into a text box. Sometimes it still might if it doesn't see pixels in the frame, like when you have logos. So now we need pollinators as our title. Control Shift greater than, and in properties we are going to all labs and library. All right, sorry, I'm so sorry about that, because I wasn't informed that the labs would also be closed. I did know that the library was not going to have services available. All right, so I will get more information about that today for you. Oh, that makes me sad. All right, so we're going to center that, pollinators, under properties, and I'm going to move my swatches in here by dragging and dropping it there. Did you know you can do that? You can drag and drop out all of your palettes and drag and drop them back in, so you can organize your tabs however you like. So now that I have pollinators up here, I'm going to try this orange color. Black arrow. Ooh, it's too, we're not going to be able to see it over the background. What if I highlight it and make it white? That's better. We can read it. You need enough contrast in order to read that. If I go down to the bottom, I can't read the website at all. I could try making it white or paper. The paper it's being printed on is white. That's why it says paper. If your paper you were being printed on was blue, it would just say paper. So you would realize that the color of the paper is what's going to show. This isn't quite well enough down here. So you know what I'm going to do? One last thing. The rectangle tool, I can still use the frame tool. So with the frame tool, I'm going to click and drag a box over my text. I'm going to fill it with orange. Now, I could fill it with blue. I could fill it with any color. If I'm going to align with this, I'm going to fill it with orange. The problem is it's in front of my text. So with my selection tool, I can right click and arrange that. I'm going to send it to the back. Now I have a problem. I send it all the way behind my picture as well. So I'll click on my picture. I will right click, arrange, send to back. There we go. Now I can read everything because I put a contrasting block behind the text in order for the text to be able to be seen without all this contrast happening in behind it. If you really wanted to, you could do the same at the top by, again, the frame tool. Click and drag a box over top. Make it the color you want. Maybe it needs to be the darker color. Ooh, I don't like either of those. I could go back to the orange. That's the color on their website. And then I would need to right click on the object, arrange. Let's see if I do just send backward. It's going in behind the last thing I put there. Or you send it to the back and you just change everything. That looks actually a lot better, doesn't it? That looks better with the solid block. So again, your frame tool, your rectangle frame tool, you can add color to it. You can add any color to it. And then use that as a way to create contrast behind text if you can't read the text. All right. Oh, there are no deadlines, by the way, right now. We have no deadlines at the moment. Steve and I will be talking specifically about what we're going to do about deadlines. So we don't have any this week at all. So what you can get done this week, great. This is a transition week. The reason why I'm running my online labs this week is so we can, this is kind of a trial run, making sure you can all get access to Zoom, making sure, so you're already running into issues with your laptops. So this is something that, this is the trial run to make sure that your equipment is working, so that everything is up and running so that you can work independently at home, but still work with the online class instruction so that you're not missing a lot. The videos will be posted. And then we're just gonna have to see what happens with laptops. With your laptop, if you can't access, if you keep crashing. So if you're crashing, it usually means that one, your Wi-Fi is not, you don't have enough strength in your Wi-Fi to be on Zoom. The second thing is just could be your laptop is inadequate to run the program. So that's an issue. And we don't even have Photoshop open. We're using InDesign, which shouldn't take up much space at all. So that's something that we'll have to look at as well. I am going to do my best to see if they will let us use the college labs. As far as I knew, those were still open. So I will find out what the issue is there. And if they allow you to use the labs, you may have to space yourself out several seats, meaning you need to have 6 feet between you and every other person. And I think that's what the issue is with this particular virus. The social distancing means you like need to physically be apart. The college, so far we know for sure we're down, the college will not be open for classes for the next 3 weeks, but they have already talked about it. We're not going back in person to classes for the rest of the semester, which means all of our classes are going to be live online instead of in class. So I'm not sure what we're going to do about the labs. What should happen for, I'm going to take a look at what we can do about that. So this is obviously going to be an issue for many who don't have adequate laptops or needed access to the lab. I will do my best to see what support that I can get for you. Your online, your exams are being rewritten now to be online. So that's what they're looking at doing currently. We're all preparing for the event that we might not be able to go back before the end, because we do have to follow health regulations, health and safety, and the government also has lots of rules that we need to apply to ourselves now in order for this not to spread. Because what we've seen in Italy, it happened so quickly, and that was the social, there was no social distancing soon enough. So luckily we have done that very quickly here, as much as possible. So we're doing what we can. So the word is that we will be doing everything online right through to the end of the semester, including exams. So it would be an online exam is what we would have to do. So we're all preparing for the fact that we might not be in classes again for the rest of the semester. So please keep that in mind. But things might change. We might be out of the woods. We might be able to move back to classes. We're not sure. So this is a extenuating circumstances. We are all in this together. We are going to do what we can to support you and support each other as we try to navigate this very different, never happened in my lifetime issue. So hopefully we can make all that, we can support you in that. So, and please feel free to email me or call me or text me if you're stressing out about stuff, or if you want to just talk things out or figure out what we're going to do. I'm here to take those calls from you, and those texts and those emails. Okay, make sure you email me at my Conestoga C, our Conestoga account, not in mail in D2L. And but you all have my phone number as well, so make sure you use that as well if you need to. All right, so now that those questions are answered, we'll just continue. Just to finish this up, the last thing we're going to do is just set up our text. And so I want you to go to the back panel, panel 6. And with your text, sorry, we're going to go back to your text tool. And I'm going to set up my text. Oh no, I did it again. This is fun. There we go. So I've clicked on my text box. I'm going to double click to reveal the text tool. And I'm going to select all of my text and make it centered. Why would I center all my text? Because my logo, my website at the bottom is centered and my logo is centered. So in the interest of repetition, I'm going to center the text. Now, we do have some terrible breaks here. Look at this. For Canadian inquiries about the Canadian, that's a terrible line break, right? A word break. So I'm going to click in front of Canadian and I'm going to hit return and make sure that Canadian is all on one line. It's also the name of the organization, Canadian Wildlife Federation, so it should all be on one line. For general inquiries about the Canadian Wildlife Federation, our regular business hours are, let's click in front of Monday, move that to the next line, that makes sense, right? Click in front of you, next line. So what we're doing is we're editing our copy in order for it to read properly in front. So you can contact customer service, click in front of the M for Monday, click in front of the next line, S for Saturday. And let's move if you call to the next line. Please message and we will get back to you by phone, by mail. See how I'm editing this so that it reads better in lines here? I will post mine, by the way, so that you can also take a look at mine. I'll throw it up in milestones. And so you can always take a look at my finished one. So now that we have that, we don't really have a very good headline here, do we? So we have pollinators here. That's a nice headline. And maybe we need the same style to continue across here. So does anyone remember how we created style sheets? What we did is we highlighted the text once we got it set up the way we liked it. So this is Times New Roman, bold, which is what I put in the Word doc. And so that's what came in over here. But we did change the color. So I changed the color to this CWF website color that I sampled. There it is. And if I really want to, I could go all uppercase, right? So that gives it even more prominence. So I'm going to highlight pollinators. And this is how you create a style sheet. You can, on a PC, you can click on F11, or you can go under your type menu to paragraph styles. And here, there's already normal and heading and basic paragraph. Those were brought in off of the Word document. But what we want to do is create a new style sheet that we control using the text we have highlighted. So with paragraph styles open, again, that's the F11 key on a PC, or you can go under type to paragraph styles. Not paragraph, that's for aligning your text in your paragraph. You want paragraph styles. So if you click on it again, it goes away. All right, so with paragraph styles open and my text highlighted for creating my style sheet from, you click on this little tab on the right-hand side and go to new paragraph style. The only thing you have to do here is type in what it is. It's a headline, or it's a subhead, or it's whatever you want to call it so you recognize it so you can use it again in your document. So I'm just going to check to the left here under general basic character formats. Yeah, it's Times New Roman bold 18. That's exactly what I had because it's picking up the style of what you have highlighted. If I scroll all the way down to character color, there's the orange I selected. So it's got everything I need. I'm now going to click OK. And then I must actually apply it, right? So I'm now going to apply headline. So now I can click on contact information. I don't even have to highlight it. I just need to be clicked inside the text on that line before return and hit headline. Now I have a problem. It's not centered. But all my other headers, if I go through here and add more headers, so I'll click here, headline, click here, headline. See what it's doing? So I'm applying the style that I created. Now, in this particular one, though, I modified it because I centered it. So I would have to go under properties and center that under paragraph as well. I also might have to reduce the size a wee bit because it doesn't quite fit on that page. And this is okay to do. So there's another headline. Center, I will have to modify it and reduce the size. Now, if I really wanted to, just like we did, I don't know if we did it. No, I did it in my class yesterday. Because I've modified this and I've made it smaller, so I'm going to go to 14. It's Times New Roman bold, but it's still the same color. What if I want to duplicate that style? So what I can do is I can choose headline. See how there's a plus sign because I've modified it? If you hold Alt, or on a Mac, you would hold Option, and I reset it, here's the cool thing you can do. You can duplicate a style. So we've been creating new paragraph styles, but what if you want to duplicate that style and then modify it so it works for other things? I don't want to recreate it from scratch. So instead of a new paragraph style, I'm going to click on headline and I'm going to duplicate it. It's now called headline copy, but I'm going to call this one subhead because I just want to make a smaller version of my headline here. And I'm going to change it in here instead. So I'm going to change, you have to have preview on in the bottom left-hand corner, but I'm going to change this to 14 points. And like yesterday, it didn't want a preview for me. Of course not. And in indents and spacing, one we haven't explored yet, this is where you can align your text. So let's see what happens when I click OK, since my preview isn't working. And I'm going to add subhead. So you can select any style sheet and you can duplicate it and then modify it in here and just rename it. So what if I did subhead teal? So the teal color instead of orange. So subhead teal. I can go into basic character format. So I've renamed it, right? So it's got a new name, but I've duplicated the original one. Times New Roman 14, but I'm going to change the character color to teal. And now when I apply it, there it is, teal. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Center it, right? So I'll highlight the text. I'm going to choose the lighter teal too because there's not enough contrast between it and the black. So basic character formats, that's all correct. Indents and spacing, I forgot to center it. There we go. And the color isn't contrasting enough to the black. It's too dark. It's too similar. So I'm going to choose the lighter one. And then I save it. There we go. So now I can apply it here and apply it here. And there we go. So I might add some extra spaces so it's easier to read those. Maybe I'll bold this. So I'm adding contrast to text. With my black arrow, I'm also going to move this down. Let's see. Maybe the logo can go on the top, right? Maybe we can move the logo to the top. So now the rest is going to be up to you on how you want to organize this. Using anchor points to change. There we go. Maybe the logo, this could be red or orange. So the rest is up to you on how you want to color these. Let's see. There we go. Oh, now I can apply my new subhead. What subhead do I want? We have species at risk. This should probably go to the next line. I think I need to create one more style. So subhead teal, new duplicate that style, and this is going to be bold copy because I just want to bold those. Basic character formats, I do not want all caps. I want it bold. I want it indents and spacing a line left, and the character color, I'm gonna go for, there isn't really a lot of contrast with that teal, so I might change my mind later. You can always change your mind, right? Because all you have to do is double click on it if you want to make bold copy. There we go. Long-tailed eater, bold copy. Yeah, it's not, whoops, bold copy. It's same with habitat. Now, I couldn't do it with habitat because watch what happens. It's going to do the entire line because it's a paragraph style sheet. It continues throughout the entire line to the end. So that would be a character style sheet. These aren't bold, so it's hard to read those. So properties, bold. So just follow along with this tutorial to finish up. This is a good way to practice. Also, while we wait for things to happen, we don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to highlight this and I'm going to fix this bold copy. I think I'm going to change the color to orange. So wherever well, maybe I'll choose the red one. Now, wherever I used it, it's been applied. So everyone, here's our, whoops. I'm gonna have to take that space out. There we go. Everything fits. No, it doesn't. Red plus sign. Better make my box slightly bigger. Oh, shoot. It looks like I'm gonna have to push that to the next page. So I have some blank space under here, but that's okay. I am aligned across the top. All right. So this is what we have. And this is all I need you to get to. And then you do have other stuff off to the side. You can keep it there, file save. But last but not least, we just need to save this. All right, we are going to collect these. So let's do that. That's the last thing we're going to do is we're going to collect it. And then you can always work on the InDesign file out of that packaged folder and continue working to complete this. So I've got everything. Like other things I might want to do is I might want to go and put a stroke, meaning an outline. And what color would I make that? I would make the stroke color paper. Does that look better? See that? That might look better. So there are other things you can still do to continue on your creativity journey here. And again, just by following my video tutorial here, this is essentially a video tutorial. There are also other InDesign tutorials, video tutorials, all there for you to work with. So now that I've got all of these set up, the last thing I want to do is I want to do a collection, but I want to see what this looks like without all this crazy guides and lines all over the place. So if you control colon, see if you turn them on and off, you can hide your guides. They're on, they're off. So that's control colon. And control colon turns them back on again. But you can see I still have all my bounding boxes in preview. So that's control H. Or on a Macintosh, it's command control H. Now you can see how nice it looks and how organized and clean the information is without all those turned on. See how nice the alignment is? Take a look at all the great contrast you've created in text and in your images. Great alignment, great contrast, so we can read the text, alignment, repetition of colors and images and fonts, and proximity. We've kept this package together, space, next line, this package together, space, making sure that if I had left this here, or sorry, had I left it the way it was, sorry, see how it's no longer connected to the text it belongs to? That's poor proximity right there. So we want to make sure that that title is with the package of text it belongs to. So that's proximity. So we want to make sure it all fits. All right, and in the bottom corner, you should have no errors, and it should be green. If you want to turn your guides back on to continue working, it's Control colon, which is to the right of your letter L, or Control H, also shows your bounding boxes. So that's it. If you're done, you can always get rid of the extra stuff on the side, but you don't have to. So Control S, you save your beautiful, lovely TRIFOLD brochure. It's looking pretty nice now. And this is the last step. This is going to collect your fonts, your images. I have images all over the place. I have them in my downloads folder, all over my desktop, and I need to clean this up. So I want InDesign to do it for me. So under File, you're going to go to Package at the very bottom. Okay, so we are packaging. It's going to collect our fonts. See all the fonts I've used? It's going to collect them. It's going to collect all my linked images. See them all? Excellent. It's even picking up, oh, that's CMYK, my print settings. So there's my summary. So I'm going to click on Package. So all you have to do is File, Package, all the way at the bottom after you've hit Save, Package. Now, if you haven't saved it yet, it might say you haven't saved it yet. So you save it, File, Package, choose Package. Where are you going to save it to? I'm going to save it to my desktop. Notice the name of the file is called CWF TRIFOLD. You might have the word brochure. It always adds the word folder to it for you. And below here, it's telling you everything it's collecting. Look at this. It's collecting your fonts, your linked graphics, all of that stuff. It includes a legacy file for older versions of InDesign, and it's including a PDF. And let's take a look. Which one should we choose? If we only choose high quality print, it might not embed all of our fonts and images. So we want to choose PDF X1A as our choice. That's the PDF it's going to produce. It's also going to put it all right there in your folder. So let's hit Package. And voila, it's done. Let's see what's happened here. So I'm actually going to quit InDesign. I'm done. I'm going to quit Chrome as well. Close off. I got a lot of stuff open here. So where is my folder? Here it is, my CWF TRIFOLD folder. In there, magically, are all your links. It's collected them from everywhere, wherever they were. It's collected your fonts. So if you're going to work on another computer, you can double click and load your fonts on any new laptop, anywhere you want. Here's your PDF. It created a PDF. It's got your InDesign working file so you can continue working. Then you would do a new package for updating. And it's even got a legacy file, meaning an older version. So let's see what your TRIFOLD brochure looks like in there. Beautiful, ready for print. There it is. So it even creates your PDF for you. You don't have to do any extra work. So please follow this tutorial. You can, obviously you can scrub if you need to go forward to get to the parts you need. Email me if you have any questions. Text me if you have any concerns and you need me to read your email with your concerns in it. But please follow along. I don't know how long it'll take for this to upload to YouTube with the link, so that the link is ready to go. But this is in its entirety is going to be up on the website under a new module called Zoom online video tutorials. Okay, so just look for the word Zoom. That's going to be all of these full class lectures and tutorials that are in here. All right, do we have any? Oh, you're allowed to download the pictures from the actual CWF website. Why? Because you're doing a brochure for the organization, which means they probably would have provided you with the pictures. So you don't have to worry about copyright there. So don't worry about copyright for these, and then pexels.com for your other images, and you're good to go. Then you're copyright free. All right, so does anyone have any other, oh, where do we download these pics? Yeah, so Pexels, PEXELS.com, or go to the website itself, CWF website. The link is, I'm in my own way. The link is right there. You actually have a link. And it's an interactive PDF already, because it was already connected to the graphic. So look, you can even click on it right out of the Word doc. So you can go here, look for endangered species, look for pollinators, learn more, and find the images that you need, which are, if we keep going, this one. Right click on the image, save the image as to your desktop. Right click on the image, save it to your desktop. Right click on the image, save it to your desktop. And then you have all the files you need for these inset pictures here. These other photos were from pexels.com. The logo I provided under milestones. The text I provided under milestones. So make sure you go under the milestone assignment to collect those. All right. So that's everything in the package folder. If you're all done and you'd like me to take a look at it, then by all means, upload it to your TRIFOLD brochure draft folder. You'll want to right click, and I'm on a Mac, so it has already compressed right here. On a PC, it would say send to, and then compress zip or WinZip or whatever you have set up. So you want to upload your zip folder to the portal. And let's just make sure we put that in the in here too. So if you go to the folder under course tools assignments, the folder you'll want to upload that zip to is TRIFOLD brochure complete. Now, if you're not done yet, just upload the TRIFOLD draft. Then you will have the option to keep working on it, making sure it's as good as it can be. Don't forget your design principles. So crap needs to be applied. Choices of fonts. We didn't even play around too much with fonts, but you can also play around with fonts. So use your typography know-how to select your fonts, and color theory. So we did apply a bit of color theory there. We used complementary colors based on the website's already choice of color theory, which allowed us to use repetition principles so that the brochure looks a lot like their website. So we have a continuity of theme, whether it's in print or online. All right, so you can put that in the draft. And when you are done, you're happy with your final brochure, it goes in TRIFOLD brochure complete. And that's everything. If you have any questions, now's the time to ask. And we already have a nice day. So again, I will look into what we're going to do about labs and laptops. If you're okay with sharing your laptop, you know, with your classmates who don't have adequate laptops or no longer have the software, maybe you can share the cost of the software while we work out what's going to be happening for the rest of the semester. Anyway, if you're done and you don't have any questions, I will look forward to seeing your submissions as they come in. And again, there's no set deadline. Please work away at it this week, though, before things start to pile up based on online delivery courses, and deadlines will start coming. So yeah, have some fun building these and going through some of the other tutorials and keeping up with your skills. All right, have a nice day, everybody. All right, and everyone, you too, stay safe. Don't do anything silly like go to the Ezra Street party today. My husband is there now with a long zoom lens to stay away from the crowds if the crowds do gather. So, so please stay safe, be calm, enjoy isolation. You know, sometimes it's not a bad thing to have some time to yourself. Make sure you take care of yourselves. And please, again, email me, call me, text me, whatever you need. Please let me know. I'm here for you. We're here to support you. So all you have to do is let me know. All right. Have a great day, everyone. I'm ready to log off. Yeah. If you just if you just follow, there's the question is, do I have the information for this assignment? Yeah, I just did it live on video. So this will be uploaded to the new Zoom module under contents in eConestoga. So you can find this whole thing in its entirety and just follow along. And then all the text and logos are under the milestones. So there's also a milestone assignment outline, milestone 4, the Word doc, the logos, and then this entire instruction, which I will be posting as soon as I can. So we will see how long it takes for YouTube to upload it, because it is over 2 hours, but it will be there at some point today. So take a look for that. And again, take care of yourselves and have a great day.